One of the functions in ArcMap that I have very little experience with, but can be pretty nifty, is its capability to create graphs and charts. And it's a little bit clunky, but with a little patience and ingenuity, you can make some pretty interesting graphs. To get to this functionality, you go to the Tool menu and go to Graphs, and then you just want to go to Create. And you'll notice here there's kind of a space for Preview, and then you can pick a graph type. And granted, they don't have a whole ton of them, but you can get pretty complicated. And then there's a layer list. Now, one thing you should be aware of is the layers available to you to make these charts and graphs are related to the active data frame. So if we go here to the State of Indiana data frame and click Activate, and then go to Tools, Graphs, Create, we don't have the Farrington's Grove data available to us because it's not in that data frame. So, perhaps we want to make a graph of the crime rate so the number of crimes reported per capita in Indiana. We want to make sure that the State of Indiana layer or data frame is activated. Go here to Graphs and Create. And maybe what we want to do is make a histogram, and we'll pick one of these counties' crime population maps. They're all the same, and perhaps we want to come up here with crime report, and let's see here. Well, what we can't do is standardize here. We'd have to do some math in the actual attribute table. Instead, let's do a map of, or a graph rather, of Farrington's Grove crime reports. And so I'm going to activate that data layer and go here to Tools and Create. Now, let's say that we want to make an area graph. And so an area graph is one where the data series here, you might have a total, and then you've got different variables that make up a proportion. And so here our value field is going to be from Farrington's Grove crime 2008. And the total amount is going to be crime count. That's the total crime reports. Now here this is just a number. Down here this is census block group. And so the X label field, this is where it gets a little tough. You might say block 2000, but these numbers don't mean much to your person who might be using this map. So you might just want to come in here and say, maybe we come and find state, or let's see. Well, unfortunately, there's no name variable here. So maybe we say state, and then later we'll actually edit this. And so now this is, keep in mind you can set color here. You can match it with the layer that's the symbology of the layer that's being mapped, or we can pick a custom color. And for this we might want to just keep it a relatively clean color. I don't know, we make it kind of a dark color. And so each one of these is a census block, and each of these is the number of reported crime cases, right? Now this would be total crime, but maybe we want to show that auto is a big chunk of that. Auto theft is a big chunk of that, or burglaries are a big chunk of that. So here we go down to Add, and we do New Series. And then we have to kind of go through this similar process. We pick vertical area, we pick Farrington's Grove, we come find burglaries here, and then what we need to do is change the, we'll call this burglaries. And what we need to do is change the order so that the one that takes precedence is actually total crime, because that's going to be the bigger number. And then we want to pick a custom color and make it related but not the same, right? Burglaries, total crime. Now let's say that we also want to put auto theft in there, because there's a recent auto theft in the neighborhood. And we come down, we pick auto theft, and we want to move that again all the way over. Call it auto theft and we might want to pick a custom color that's related but not the same again, and there's our layer, or there's our chart. So we go next, and here it could be crime reports by type, and the legend, we might just leave that be. Axis properties, go to bottom here, and we might be like Farrington's Grove blocks, and maybe we don't even make it visible. Maybe we make it visible. It's up to you. And then you go to finish, and you've got this report here. What you can do, it just sits here in ArcMap, but you can actually, what you'll want to do is size it to the size you might want for your layout. Maybe we like that. And make sure that the properties are the way you like them. I might actually change the background color here. Let's see if we can figure out how to do that. Go to Advanced Properties. Maybe we go to the General Panel Color, and we pick. Okay, so that's just the background. What we want is the walls, and we change this to white or something besides gray, because gray, all gray does is actually confuse things. Didn't take care of it. Set that to white. Looks like we got a whole bunch of these. Or maybe we uncheck visible. Cancel. Anyway, I'm gonna find this. Promise. Set this color to white and back. There we go. Of course, it's the last one. Then all you do is copy as graphic and paste to your layout. Now, this graph now is not dynamic, so if the data changes in any way, you're kind of in trouble. You got to redo everything. But what we can do to it is kind of move it around, resize it, and in some cases you may be able to convert it to graphics and actually start taking it apart. Anyway, so that's kind of a quick and dirty introduction to charting and graphing in ArcMap. It can be pretty powerful. You could also put lines over this. It's pretty nifty.